So I just closed out week 10 on the carnivore diet and have some updates from the last 2 weeks for you guys. Real quick, on the other side of the screen, you'll see a recap from my first 8 weeks, followed by the 6 rules that are goals, daily goals that I aim for. Yeah, let me just apologize. I missed last week's video. By the time I got around to recording it, it was already like Wednesday morning. And I was like, at this point, by the time putting it out, the week's almost over. And I was just super swamped with work, so I wasn't able to get that out. And just being busy with work carried on to other things. The diet wasn't great this past week. Had a few the last 2 weeks, had a couple slip ups, but trying to do better, right? That's what we can only hope to do. Now, the big update I got is with the rowing goal. So for those of you who've been watching and supporting the channel for some time, know that a big goal of mine for 2024 was to hit a sub 8 minute row. Let me rephrase that. A sub 8 minute row, 2 kilometer row. So I wanted to do 2 kilometers on a rowing machine in under 8 minutes. That was just something that I wasn't able to do before. And on the other side of the screen, you'll see the recap for my workout on March 1st. So this is just my morning daily row. At that week I was doing 19 minutes. I think I had my dampener, the drag factor set up to about 175, I believe. Maybe even higher than that. Maybe it was at 190. I can't really recall. But that day I decided to do something different. Normally I try to do the first 2 kilometers a little quick, and then I just kind of pace for a minute or two. And then try to find steady state for the last 7, 8, 9 minutes, however long the row is. But this, I kind of did something different. I was like, I'm just going to go really slow first couple minutes. You'll see that my first 4 minutes, that had an average 500-meter split time of 2:18. Again, for me, that's pretty laid back. That's really slow. So I was just practicing going through the motions, trying to get as good of an extension, sticking to the fundamentals. Crappy split time for me, to be honest. But if you look on there, you'll see from minutes 16 to 19, I held a 2-minute 500-meter split, which if you extrapolate that out over a total of 8 minutes, that would be right at my 2-kilometer goal. And with the drag factor kicked up, it means that I should be able to go faster with it's kind of tricky if you haven't rowed before and you're not familiar with the drag factor, dampener, how that can affect the distance. But I was like, I should be able to, if I maintain the same stroke rate, probably hit at the same distance, and it should be easier to do. So going into Sunday's test for the 2 kilometers, I was pretty excited because, as I told you guys, the first Sunday of each month, I'm going to be trying to PR on something. And so I was going to, keep doing that until I hit a sub 8 minute 2-kilometer row. And so I set the drag factor back down between 140 150. So I had it right at 144. And you'll see, spoiler alert, though, you'll see on the other side of the screen that the first 500 meters I went a little faster than I would typically go. But I knew I wanted to start out strong just to give me a little cushion for the minutes 2 to 6. I knew minutes 2 to 6 are going to be the make it or break it zone. In the past, when I've been trying to PR, 2 to 6 is where it falls apart. I'll try to go a little bit fast on the stroke rate, and then when you're rowing, it's all about being in a repetitive fashion. It's almost like a train. You have to find that rhythm. And for me, every now and then I'll go and just you do a double inhale, and the next thing you know, you're just at a rhythm with the way your body's moving. So I knew 2 to 6 minutes I had to be really locked in on that. And I knew if I was close, I was like, I got it. Even if I had to do a 155 for the last 500 meters, I know I can do that because I've really been on all my workouts, the last minute or towards the last minute, I always try to put a strong push for the last, let's say the last 90 seconds of last 75 seconds of that, because I like to kind of have a little cool down. I'll really give a really strong push for about a minute. Um, but yeah, like I was totally stoked when I hit 7:53 and change for my 2 kilometers. Um, Now that's a full minute faster than what I was doing back in January. So it's just kind of cool to see the progress there. Um, does it have to do with the carnivore diet? Partially, I would say definitely partially. Not partially, partially. But also, I think it's just the uh, being very consistent with doing the morning row. I've missed very little days on that, and increasing both the intensity with the dampener factor and also the duration definitely played into it. But yeah, like to hit a let's call it what it is, a fitness goal, performance goal, like that was kind of a special moment for me. I really was like proud, honestly proud of of hitting that. But it also leaves the next question of like, what am I working for to next? Because I think it's important to have goals, something to drive towards, not just if I just went in there, oh, I'm just gonna row mindlessly. It could it work? Yeah, but I think it's good to have a performance rate, and I think that's why people, when they have that marathon, I'm not gonna row a marathon, at least not yet. But the people who start jogging and like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do a half marathon, they'll start like, I want to do a 5K, I want to do a half marathon, I'll do a full marathon. I think it's with anything, saving money. If you're like, oh, I'm just gonna save money for the sake of saving money, good luck. But if it's like, oh, I'm gonna save money so I can get that down payment for a car, a house, whatever, it makes it more logical. It brings a sense of logic to this goal you're chasing, and you're now able to, okay, do I want to do that, or is that going to deter me from my goal? So I know I need to set a new rowing goal, and I think the two options that I see natural paths are like option one, let's just double the distance and double the time. Can I do 4 kilometers in 16 minutes? I think if I went for that, I would be pretty close this Sunday if I was to try for it. I think I'd probably be 30 seconds shy on it, if I'm being honest. But I think that's something I would probably get by May, conservatively. I think I would get that by May. I think that's going to be a little easier than what option 2 is. Option 2 is that I'm going to there's aiming for a time under 7 minutes and 22 seconds. Now, there's a reason why I picked 7 minutes 22 seconds. According to rowinglevel.com, which has a bunch of things that kind of tracks, like, you can see like based on your age and your gender, where your 2 kilometer row will pitch you at, whether it's beginner, intermediate, advanced, like professional. I think I forget what the exact levels are, but across all categories, across all ages, across the genders, all from the extreme athlete to the beginner, like the good time that they put for a 2 kilometer row is 7:22. So I think that would officially put me in like maybe the top 50 percent, the top half of the bell curve. So as I think that's the goal I want to go for, because it's gonna be harder for me. I've never been a sprint athlete, never had turn of foot, never had like that ability. Even when I wrestled, most of my wins, when I did win, which didn't happen a lot, would be in the third period. So I know I'm more on I tend to be more the steady state guy. Like that's where I could just kind of grind away. So I think the 16-minute 4 kilometers will be what I'm more naturally inclined to do. And that's why I think I want to go for the 7-minute 22-second one, because that's going to make me have to perform at a higher level, at a higher intensity that I would probably want to go for naturally. So, yeah, that's the one I'm really, that's what I'm setting my eyes towards. That's the new target. Maybe I do both. But the one I'm going to start testing on Sundays is still, a 2 kilometer row, but I'm aiming to get under 7 minutes and 22 seconds. Now, as far as the progress that I made over the last couple weeks, last 2 weeks rather, over the last 2 weeks, lost a total of 3 pounds. Not great, but not terrible. So that puts us at a total of 22 on the year. 2.2 a week, not bad. A kilogram for our non-American folks. um, Blood pressure staying solid, right at like 120 over 72. Super happy with that. I just don't want to see that go up. If it maintains there, like that's those are perfect numbers. The rowing has increased to 21 minutes. That's what I'm at doing daily right now. 21 minutes of daily rowing. I have the drag factor at about 160. Again, I'm going to start, when I add, next week, I'll bump that up a little bit. And, increase the intensity and the duration until we get to the first Sunday of the month and drop it back down to the normal, like 144, 145 range and give it hell for, hopefully less than 8 minutes again. And I will be getting out those new videos that I promised a couple weeks ago. Again, I just didn't have the drive once I got home to sit here and edit and get them, go through them. But I will be getting those out on a regular basis, I promise. And just, it happens to all of us, right? We get swamped with work. And that's what I got for you this week. I made it short just to get one out this week. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the comments. It all means a lot to me. And remember, guys, it's not that easy, but it is that simple. See you next time.